What's up, everybody? It's Glenn and Big Jack back with some best bets of the Super Bowl video. It is Super Bowl week, Niners versus Chiefs. Jack, are you excited about the game or what?
Absolutely, my man. It's the Super Bowl. You got to be excited. The last game of football for quite a while. I mean, I know the XFL and USFL have combined to form the all important UFL. But personally, I can't get behind spring football. I never pay attention to it, and sure I won't start anytime soon. So yeah, this is the last game. All the way until next fall. So got to enjoy it, soak it all in. I do think it's, you know, probably one of the better matchups that could have came about, given all the contenders down the stretch here. It's interesting, a little rematch of a couple years ago. A lot of people probably feel like the Chiefs sort of snatched one from the 49ers back then. Kyle Shanahan got a little peculiar with some play calling, and the Chiefs were able to make some big plays down the stretch to get it done. And then they had that. They also played last year, and I want to say the Chiefs absolutely obliterated them. It's a bit of a different team now, but so that's an interesting data point as well. But yeah, I think it's a good matchup. Um, you know, the Super Bowl is tough to beat that spectacle. It's incredible that it's in Vegas. Not even not even 5 years ago, I would have ever imagined there'd be a Super Bowl in Vegas, considering the league's stance on the whole gambling side of things. It is kind of wild. I'm especially, for someone like our parents' age or something like that to see how this is all unfolded. Just in our lifetime has been pretty insane. So it's just kind of cool to me that they're in Vegas for the Super Bowl. I can't imagine how dope it would be to be out there.
Yeah, man, it is pretty crazy when you think about the gambling dynamic, especially with some of the refereeing that has happened in this playoffs, man. I think I heard, I want to say it was Mike Florio maybe got denied um, the ability to ask Goodell any questions the Super Bowl week. And he said on a radio show, he was like, if I had any question to ask him, and the first thing I would ask him is, before the NFL legalized gambling and said, and partnered up with them, said it was okay to do it. Goodell admitted that if gambling was ever passed, they would have to like go above and beyond to prove that there was no fixing of the games. That it would be like hard to prove that. And now, 2 years or 3 years into gambling, legalized gambling on all these sports books, it's one of the hot topics or common accusations maybe thrown at the NFL these days is that everything's rigged. So it is kind of funny how they're having to eat their words a little bit, but I mean, especially with smartphones, I mean, it was a matter of time until shit like this happened. But back to the game
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, and just
Yeah,
like I'm certainly not in the camp that anything is rigged.
sure,
But it does expose yourself to quite a bit of speculation, to say the least.
100%, 100%. But back to the game. Two of two of the best teams. That's why they're here. It doesn't feel like either of these teams is a fluke that they got to the Super Bowl. Honestly, you'd probably argue that the Lions were the outsider of those last four teams, although they gave San Francisco all they could handle. So far, in my mind, the two stories of these teams in the playoffs is the Niners not looking particularly sharp, but finding a way to get wins against these NFC North opponents that they've had. And on the other side, the Chiefs looking extra sharp and like they've turned it up a gear in the playoffs. I will say last week, I think that Baltimore maybe beat themselves as much as, or 2 weeks ago, as much as the Chiefs beat them. But that being said, the Chiefs, Mahomes, Kelsey, they go out that first drive after they get the ball, after the Ravens had the ball. And the Chiefs drive right down their throat, convert a few third, fourth down type deals, uh, high stake conversions, and they go down and score a touchdown right off the bat and really set the tone. So, I mean, the story in my mind is Niners not looking particularly sharp, Chiefs looking extra sharp. Where's your head at as we start looking at this? Maybe the weeks leading up to it, and then looking at this matchup. Do you take any stake on the form that they've shown in these 2 weeks of the playoffs, or do you think this is a new week, new story? Where's your head at, Jack?
I think I lean a little bit towards new week, new story kind of thinking. A lot to do with the fact that you get the extra week, the extra layoff to get healthy. I think the 49ers are going to be quite a bit healthier than the Chiefs. Obviously, his name escapes me right now, but the Chiefs' defensive end tears his ACL. He's been having a big impact for them. I know a lot of it's to do with what Chris Jones kind of is able to take care of in the middle and kind of free everybody else up. But that's still a big loss. And yeah, I think I agree with your points about championship weekend. I every time we're on here, saying how much I am a non-believer in Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. I think what we saw in the second half is what I'm surprised we didn't see against the Rams in the wild card weekend, quite frankly. But they were still up 24-7 and, just completely crumbled. So, give them credit for being in that position. I'm sure there's still a lot of sadness going around the city of Detroit. No matter how good of a season it could appear to be, if you really zoom out, at the end of the day, you're up 24-7 and you blew it. So that's tough. And credit to Brock Purdy. A lot of doubt in him and Shanahan whether or not they have any sort of capability to come back. They've always been front runners, and they've done it twice now. So I feel like they got to have some good mojo from that, regardless of the fact that, to your point, they certainly have looked very poor in the long stretches of this postseason, and probably feel rather lucky to still be, playing. And then I agree, couldn't agree more about the Ravens. I don't know what they were doing. They were playing like they were down 4 touchdowns and they were down 10.
Yeah,
Um, they just didn't run the ball at all, even though they're the best run team in the NFL. The Chiefs are 28th worst in the league against the rush. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It almost felt like they wanted to prove that Lamar Jackson could be the guy with his arm. And that defense played incredible. Like you said, first drive of the game, yeah, tough touchdown. They just go right down their throat, no problem, slice them up. They get the second touchdown off of the turnover. So they had a short field. I think they convert a fourth down on that drive, though. So, they were playing well, but then all of a sudden, nothing. Did absolutely nothing the entire second half, didn't move the ball whatsoever. And, maybe that was part of the Chiefs' game plan. Maybe they were just being conservative. They basically knew, if we don't turn it over and give them a quick strike, we're in good shape. We feel good about our defense. So maybe it was a little bit of Andy Reid's game plan, conservative calling. Obviously, we saw what happened when it did get down to the nitty gritty and they had that third down. When it was a 7-point ball game and they throw the bomb to MVS and the rest is history. So like they showed in the moments they could still get what they needed. So maybe, depending on how the game had been going, it could have been a different type of script. But yeah, I was shocked with the way that the Ravens played. And credit to the Chiefs defense, man. The Chiefs offense struggled pretty significantly at times throughout the course of the season. They might have finished as the worst second half offense in the NFL. And that defense is just steady as she goes. You were high on the Chiefs going into the playoffs, so credit to you. You kind of, saw it coming. Uh, Myself personally, and anyone else who sort of wasn't as high on the Chiefs, you should look back at it and realize, you give Mahomes that defense, he's going to get some good things done. So Very interested to see how it goes. I feel like both teams are, they're the last two standing. They got to be feeling pretty good about themselves, regardless of the route it took to get there.
For as high as I was on the Chiefs heading into the postseason, Jack, I gave any money I won on them back last week when I went big on the Ravens or 2 weeks ago. So let's not get it twisted here. I was high on the Chiefs heading into the postseason, but that last game, I thought the Ravens were the perfect matchup, and like I said, I still to this day feel like they they messed it up themselves. Credit to the Chiefs, but at the same token, I honestly feel like it was bad coaching that really hurt them, and then obviously like the goal line fumble by Zay Flowers and like some other things that didn't go their way. Either way, this game I got 5 bets I like.
Wow.
Four of them are legitimate, close to like -110 bets. The other one's a long shot. I got 5 bets I like. I don't know exactly how you want to go about this, but we are a betting show. So I figure we might as well hop into the bets. And I don't know how I can really give a lot of these bets without tell you which way I'm leaning. So I'm just going to go out and pick my side on the game. I'm going to give you my side and which side of the total I like. I like the Niners and I like the over. I might be a fool looking back at it and thinking that I'm basically running back my thoughts with the Ravens, and I think the Ravens were even a better matchup though than the Niners are to the Chiefs. But I think with that ground game, they'll do enough on defense. As long as they don't feel like they have to air it out and play catch up, I think the Niners are a good matchup for this Chiefs team. That defense that's so good for the Chiefs is particularly good against the pass. They're not that great against the run. I think if they hang back, stay committed to the run, I think there's a good chance that they can play the type of game that they want to play. Obviously, it's scary against going against Mahomes. Obviously, it's scary against going against Andy Reid. Um, and I know that I was so wrong 2 weeks ago when I picked the Ravens so heavy, but I'm echoing the same thoughts and I'm going Niners on this one. I like the Niners -1.5, and I like the over 47.5 in this game.
Yeah, I don't have any sort of much of an opinion on the number. I could see this game going a lot of different ways, but I also am on the Niners. I love the Niners this weekend. It's yes, there's always going to have a little bit of a hesitation creep into my mind as far as going against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and everything that they've already accomplished, but I don't know. This game just seems like it's going to go the other way to me. I think it's too appealing to see the Chiefs as a dog again. I think the public's going to kind of fall in love with that narrative, and I just see the 49ers going in there taking care of business, like you said. The way they operate on defense, I think it's a good matchup. Yeah, the 49ers play a ton of zone, which is a little worrisome to me, especially with a guy like Kelsey being able to find the spots in that zone. Um, but I just think that the way that they're able to get after the passer without blitzing, they don't blitz, they just rush four. We know that Mahomes is maybe the best of all time against the blitz. It's truly remarkable what he does in those situations, how successful he is. And the 49ers just don't do it. They're going to try to get after him with that front and let everyone else do their thing. Hopefully, those linebackers are able to step up. Fred Warner, maybe sneaky long shot, Super Bowl MVP, make some big plays. But yeah, I love the 49ers to get it done. I took them when it was all the way down to a pick 'em. It's kind of moved a little bit. So I'm on them at a couple different points. I have them at a pick 'em. I have them at -1. Maybe I'll hit them again at -2. That's where it's sitting at right now on Rivers. But I love the 49ers this weekend. I've been pretty confident on certain picks throughout the course of this playoff run. And like you said about your Ravens, some of them have come back to bite me. But on this last one, you know, there's nothing that could convince me the 49ers shouldn't come out and win this game by at least a field goal.
All right, so we're both on the Niners. As far as the total goes, I'm thinking. I think I put more stock in the way that the Niners games have gone than the way that the Chiefs games have gone. Um, if anything, I guess the Chiefs' second week against the Bills, I think, is probably closer to what is going to transpire this week against the Niners in terms of scoring output. Last week was really weird, where they got up on the Ravens and the Ravens turned into a different version of themselves. Um, I think one of these teams pushes 30, and then I think the other one gets at least 20, and that's kind of where my head's at. Um, as far as my prop bets, if you want to get into it, I'm thinking 19 and a half rushing attempts on the over for McCaffrey is a lock. That's plus 110 right now. I'm thinking over 4.5 rushing attempts for Patrick Mahomes, who is known to use his legs in big games. 4.5 attempts over at minus 125. And then my long shot bet was a long shot bet that I bet in the AFC Championship game as well, or I'm sorry, the NFC Championship game, and it was half a yard away from hitting. I like Kyle Juszczyk to get in the end zone, baby. He's a fullback. He's a big boy. Especially against that Chiefs run defense, it would not shock me if they just give him the ball on a short yardage chance on the goal line. They'll probably try to give McCaffrey a tutty too, but with the way they play, wouldn't shock me if he got a couple chances. So those are my 5 bets. I know it's a lot. That's probably the extent of what I'll do, especially after taking the shellacking I did in the AFC Championship game. But yeah, man, I see the Niners, if they stay true to the run game, being able to run the football. And if they do that, that gives them a recipe to stay in this game. And I'm just, somebody's got to figure out how to just stop Travis Kelce. And if you stop Travis Kelce, I feel like you stop the Chiefs. And nobody's done it yet in the playoffs. Maybe I'm a fool for thinking it could happen this week. But for as good as the Chiefs are, they feel like an easy team to beat. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I know they're fucking good. I know they have one of the best coaches of our generation. I know that they have a quarterback that's well on his way to being one of the all-time greats, if not is already considered an all-time great. And Travis Kelce's a Hall of Famer. The defense is all right, but to me, I just don't think they're not champions of the world good, man. They're just not. It's weird to me that they're gonna maybe do it, but that's some of my thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, just going off of your props, I love the Christian McCaffrey over rush attempts, like we kind of touched on. I think it's just a game where you're going to have to run the ball. That's Chiefs' weakness. Make it, your strength, especially in situations where, the 49ers are, a good front running team. If they get out to a lead, what does concern me is I can't remember exactly where I heard this stat, but I think Mahomes now has been trailing by at least one touchdown in like 10 playoff games, and his record in those games is 8-2. So if you get out, if we get out to an early lead, anyone who is kind of in the same boat with us, if you like the Niners this weekend, don't start counting your counting your money quite
Oh, no
yet.
doubt.
It's good. It's going to be a battle. Your Mahomes prop actually counteracts one of my props I was going to give out. Is I actually like his under for the rushing total. So
The
you said
yards.
you like his yeah, you said you like his over 4.5 attempts.
Yeah.
I like his under 25. It's actually even money.
Okay.
At least on the book I was looking at on
We can
Rivers.
maybe thread that needle there.
Yeah, he very, very certainly could. The 49ers have had, like, I don't know how many, every game in the playoffs for sure, the quarterback's under has come in. And like I talked about when we were talking about the game in general, the 49ers don't blitz.
Right.
They only have that front coming at you. And when that's how you play it, you kind of play it straight. There's very rarely those gaps to get those big chunk yardages. So yeah, like you said, maybe he skirts out a few times here and there, just trying to make some plays like he's prone to do in these big moments, and take advantage of that capability. So maybe he goes for 5, but if he's going for, like, just a couple of pop here and
Right.
there, you're not gonna get over that number. I don't know why. I'm not a big prop guy. I
Sure.
I just really like that under, quite a bit, so I'll
I
be
like where your
beyond
head's
that.
at with it.
Yeah, and then, my only last play is, it's not really a serious play at all, but, I'll be taking heads on the coin flip, baby.
The
What about you got a lean on the whatchamacallit, the national anthem reboot? It's like the lowest total in like a decade or something.
If it's the lowest total in a decade, you got to pound the under, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 90 seconds.
What I will say is, I don't know if it was a joke or if it was reality, but I saw somewhere that FanDuel or somebody was early on, like right after the Super Bowl matchup came to fruition or whatever. Um, FanDuel was offering will Travis Kelsey propose after the Super Bowl, and it was like no was only like minus 190 or something like that. And somebody was like, you should absolutely put your mortgage on no, he's not going to propose at the fucking Super Bowl to Taylor Swift. But that could have been fake for all I know. But
Yeah,
I don't
well,
really
that's
have
the
any. I don't have any um, like Gatorade color, national anthem length, any of that kind of shit going on right now.
yeah. The only thing with that stuff anyway, like the novelty plays, is they usually do
Cap.
put some sort of cap on them, just because like yes, that could very easily be manipulated.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt.
but yeah, that stuff's always goofy. I always love doing the coin flip. That's the only novelty one I do every year. But yeah, other than that, I like Mahomes and the under, and other props. The other one that kind of caught my eye was I like Kittle to go over, and I like Debo to score a rushing touchdown.
Okay.
But those are nothing. I probably won't be actually on either of those. You know me; I'm more of a
Yeah. Pick a
heavy
side
on
and go
what I'm
heavy.
on. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of value out there, so just pick it wisely.
I'm just bummed Isaiah Likely's not in the Super Bowl, so I can't bet him, man. That guy made me so much money this year. I'm gonna.
He's
I can't wait till next year so I could just bet Isaiah Likely props. Um, but no.
I don't
So
know, man. You might be too busy doing the double bubble parlayed every single week on Brock Bowers and Cole Kmet combo.
God, don't get me going, man. I can't wait. That'd be fucking sweet. But with that being said, looks like we're both going Niners. We got some other prop ideas floated out there, but looks like both of us likes the Niners. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I feel like, knock on wood, but I feel like these are two really good teams, and hopefully it's competitive and a good game throughout. I think if you look at like matchups across the board, I think it's like two relatively good coaches, probably slight lean for Kansas City. I feel like it's obviously probably a pretty significant lean at quarterback for Kansas City, and but other than that,
Yeah.
weaponry probably goes pretty significantly towards San Francisco, at least offensive weaponry, and then both defenses are good, just kind of in different ways, and I don't know, it's going to be interesting for sure. I think so. If you're new here, like and subscribe. Jack, any last thoughts for our fans out there?
No, man, just like always, party on this weekend. Enjoy it, soak it all in. If you're getting to your Super Bowl parties, whatever people got going, getting your strip cards or playing some squares, uh, you know, come home with some winners, and time to go into hibernation soon. So take take advantage of every last second.
Got one last question for you before we let you go. What's your go-to Super Bowl snack?
So, as you know, before I moved out of Chicago, I used to host every year at me and my buddy's place. It was in the city, and I would always make sloppy joes every year.
Okay.
Just like one, it's something I don't really have very often. Two, I love sloppy joes; they're great, and it's like easy to make for a bigger group of people. But yeah, I don't know. Snack wise, I don't know. I'm pretty basic with snacks. I'm kind of like
Pretzels.
yeah, the honey mustard pretzels, or like some Southwest season on the pretzels. Or like a chips and dip, good buffalo dip, all that type of bullshit. Nothing too crazy. This year, I might be making some chili, so we'll see what we got up our sleeve. How about you? What's the
I
move?
like that. I think me and my fiance are just gonna keep it low key this year, but in general, I'd say I'm a big pigs in a blanket guy. That's one of my favorite go
Oh
tos.
yeah, there you go.
Oh
I
yeah,
think you brought those one year.
I definitely. I remember bringing those one year to your guys' place for sure. But all right,
Yeah, the key is can't load up on too much food because you gotta be can't overfill because you gotta be going to town on the Miller Lights, baby.
yeah, you got to be drinking those great taste, less filling Miller Lights for sure. But all right, like and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll be back with more videos. But thanks for
And
tuning
this
in.
time next year, man, you know what it's going to be. We know who's coming out the NFC next year, so we'll see if Mahomes comes back for one more shot. But it's going to be the Bears.
Bears.